Ladies and gentlemen, Six Fig Stock Trader here from YouTube. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about Janet Yellen and how people are blaming her for the crash of Luna. And we're going to be talking about why Luna was already doomed in the first place. So, with that said, we'll get into some other altcoins, Voyager token, ICP. We'll talk about Nervos Network, and we're going to talk about some other cryptos that you guys dropped in the comments section of the last video. So if you guys want some cryptos reviewed for the next video, let me know in the comments, and let me know if you're bullish on the next week or two of crypto. I want to see you guys all in the comments section. Smash that like button. It's enough of me talking. Let's get into this. So welcome back to the worldwide super popular Six Fig Stock Trader channel. We are going to check out my Twitter at Real6Fig. And this is just one of these things that I want to show you guys. I put out a tweet last night before I went sleepy, and it says, "Don't fall for the UST Luna attack, Janet rhetoric, etc." Luna pumped 116,000% into a naturally forming multi-year rising wedge. This is very simple, blah, 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 blah. And then it reminds me of when everyone blamed Elon Musk for the Bitcoin crash of last summer. But we can see that Luna, over like a span of 2 years, pumped 116,000%. And this is very unsustainable growth. It outgrew itself. So I like Luna. I'm devastated for the holders. I want to make that very clear. From the things I've been seeing on Reddit and on Twitter, I have a lot of compassion for the people that have lost money in this setup, because this is something that could have been totally avoided. This was off my radar because really, we never really talked about Luna. Nobody ever really brought it up. But we can see that the pump was 116,000 to the upside from March of 2020, that coronavirus dip. And then up until recently, where it was trading at around 130, 125, somewhere in there. And now we have seen the price retrace almost 99+%. So what happened here is Luna formed a very nice rising wedge. It was time for Luna to crash. Now, it doesn't help that when Luna crashed, Janet Yellen couldn't help but to notice and is now talking about all this regulatory stuff on stable coins, blah, blah, blah. But like I said, I wouldn't necessarily blame her for Luna's problems. And getting back to this whole thing with Bitcoin last summer, folks, this is when ICP launched its token a year ago, 510, 511, somewhere in there. And this is the point they launched their coin. It was unfortunate, but this is at the same time when Elon Musk said something about Bitcoin and everybody blamed him. Well, everybody should be blaming the greedy traders pitching Bitcoin up into this rising wedge in the first place. Rising wedges are great at stripping the market of liquidity. This is just basically a cliffhanger, and you're going to fall off at any given time. So let's get into some other stuff here, because we're not here to listen to me blab about past tweets. But if you want to hear me blab about tweets going forward, check me out on Twitter at Real6Fig. We are going to look at some of the channel comments and mentions. The bottom is end of America. This is what happens when you let Govey and the Hedgies muck with a good thing. Keep hodling and averaging down, says Kyle Gibber. Greetings from Finland. You don't have Mikko Koivu anymore. I tell you what, I took a lot of video footage and a lot of photography of Mikko Koivu. So if I have any on my computer, I will throw a quick picture in of that. So yeah, he was a great player for the Minnesota Wild. We miss him. What happened to Yokai Swap? I lost more than 5K there. That, I feel bad that you lost 5K there. That sucks. But we are in a bear market, and we have been really, to be frank, since November of 2021. Would like to know your thoughts on StormX. Okay, we will cover StormX, Cody, and Ada in this video. And let's see the graph, GRT. Love all the hockey gear. Looks like you played. I played boot hockey, baby. No, um, I could never skate. I always fall on my A. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. We'll do some TA at the end on those cryptos that people are talking about. Now, in last night's video, I drew up a Gartley pattern on UST. And let's just see what happened with this. So bear with me 1 second. And so let me get to a different chart here. We'll get back to the hourly. So when I did my video last night, I drew up a chart up here saying that we were going to see price somewhere down in these levels here. And I did this because I recognized that there could have been this Gartley pattern that had formed. Now, we didn't see C quite get as high as I thought we might, but we did see the bottom kind of fall out here. And let's just go back and look at this at like a 15-minute chart. So here we go. And so what I ended up doing was figuring out that we could expect price to come right down to around this 50-cent level, this 161.8 level. And it sure as hell did. And it blew right through that. That is very interesting. Right now, we're seeing UST start to incline a little bit, but I have my suspicions at this point, since we didn't stick to this symmetrical triangle, that we could possibly be seeing the formation of a head and shoulders pattern. Something like this could possibly be forming to take us back down to the next level. Now, this isn't financial or trading advice or anything like that, but it is certainly possible a formation like this could be happening. We are looking at the 15-minute chart to boot. So we'll have to check back in on UST. Let's just check out Luna. And I can't believe, folks, that I'm doing TA on a stable coin. Who would have ever thought? So Luna, unfortunately, Luna has reached a new low of 68 cents. Oh man, that's tough to say. That's tough to say. I mean, damn, that sucks. But it is what it is, right? So in the matter of one day, 22 hours, we saw Luna lose approximately 98% of its value. That's not cool at all. So what do we have going for Luna now? Well, we're looking at a 15-minute chart, and we really can't look at this on like a daily chart or anything like that just quite yet until we spend some time seeing what exactly is going on. So I have a few theories of what could be going on. And when we start thinking about theories, the first thing people are probably going to start thinking of is the Elliott wave theory. So will we see a movement of Luna back up to the $25 range or higher or not? It's quite possible. It's also quite possible that we will see this corrective wave play out. And at this point in time, I think right now, all Luna is doing is consolidating at these levels. It's testing the waters to see if there are any buyers interested in holding Luna at these levels. Personally, I passed on Luna when it was at $1 this morning. And even though it shot up in price, I'm glad I passed on it. I simply am not in the business of gambling my money during these extremely volatile times. I've been there, done that. I've lost my money before, and I would just rather invest in a better project like Nervos Network or ICP or eGold or one of these other projects out there that show some promise to a longer lasting future. Now, I don't think that we really know the entire story of Luna quite yet. So it's tough to really jump to any assumptions as to what exactly is going on. But for the most part, I think that Luna will possibly come back down to the 60-cent level. I do think that it's quite common to see some sort of double bottom at this level, especially if Luna is going to try to move upwards. Um, that's just kind of my two cents on it. And let's just look at this back on the 15-minute chart. So right now there is a symmetrical triangle squeeze here, and we'll check back in on Luna to see which way it's gonna break because Fibonacci time sequence. Let's just see. Is showing us that it's going to break here in about 15 minutes. Now let's get on to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is, man, is really shaking the tree so hard. And I want to just show you guys something. What was it on the weekly chart with Bitcoin? This is why I'm hopeful for Bitcoin. Now, when I go ahead and this is the market, folks, this is the market. So when I go ahead and draw a Fibonacci time sequence from Bitcoin's high, December 2013, to the low reversal point in August of 2015, we come up with Fibonacci time sequence. Now, this time sequence here really kind of predicted a huge acceleration in volatility, and this time sequence predicted a reversal, and it predicted the reversal of the 2018 bear market almost to the day. It's within a week or two. So this is very significant. Now, when we start talking about Fibonacci time sequence, we can start to see that, hey, there is another time sequence showing up the week of June 13th, somewhere in that area. So I do think that over the next month, we might possibly be getting ready to see Bitcoin hit right around this June 13th, June 20th, somewhere in there, this $25,000 ish level. I've been talking about this $25,000 level for the last 6 months to a year. And I'll be happy when I can stop talking about it. But what we can see that happened in the December 2013 and 15 crash was a beautiful falling wedge had formed. There is another falling wedge that is forming right now. So I do think that we might be getting ready to see another squeeze to the upside here, maybe sometime in the next month or two. I really do think that. This is not financial or trading advice at all, but we are going to pull out the good old Bitcoin investor tool because I just want to highlight the areas that have been the best to buy for Bitcoin over its history. And bear with me 1 second here. And I, no pun intended with the markets right now. We can see that when Bitcoin fell underneath this green line, this is a phenomenal time to be buying crypto. When it fell below this time or this green line here, it was a phenomenal time to be buying crypto. When it fell below this green line here, it was a phenomenal time to be buying crypto. Do I need to say that again, folks? We are below this line. I'm not saying that you should be buying crypto at these levels because for all I know, we could see Bitcoin return down to 5,000 and maybe we could see like a $200 million crypto market. I don't think it's going to happen, but we never thought Luna was going to crash like it did either. So Bitcoin is currently trading at 30,000. And I do think that there might be some hope here that we are really chipping away at the bedrock of the bottom. So if we see Bitcoin go down another 5,000 somewhere in there, I'm not going to be too concerned. However, if we start to see Bitcoin go lower, like past 20,000, 18,000, I might have a little bit more concern with that. So I mean, it is what it is. Crypto's volatile. I've been in the space now aggressively for the last year and a half, and it's just something that you get used to if you're long term and you have a good project that you support. Let's look at CKB again, folks, because I know this is an important one for the audience that listens to this channel. And so, what we can see is CKB at about 005 this morning, and now it is trading at 6 cents. Let's look at this on the bigger picture, right? Where can this thing go as Bitcoin continues to really break down? I'm going to pull up a 4-hour chart and we're going to just do some things here. I mean, if Bitcoin goes down to that $25,000 level, be prepared for this 3 cent, or excuse me, 0.00345 ish cent CKB. And if it goes lower than 0.0024, that is the all time low. That might be a decent pickup point. But for me, I am personally waiting to see if we come on down to this 0.0034 ish level on CKB. I'm not saying you should. I'm not trying to influence the price in any way. This is just what the Fibonacci channel is telling me, and I trust my TA. I'm not saying that you should. So we'll look at eGold here because we had Obi-Wan want this one last night. And if you guys need to know any information about eGold, he is the guy to go to. He knows his stuff and he's done his research on eGold. And so what we have here with eGold is a classic rising wedge that happened. And we can see this because we can draw these trend lines like this. So this is a very similar thing that happened to Luna and Bitcoin, like I mentioned earlier on in the video. And you know, the good thing about this rising wedge is that it's not really as big as Luna's rising wedge. So that is good. Now, one thing with eGold is that we can see RSI is in a very nice position, very similar to Bitcoin, like I pointed out. And we can see, bear with me, that we might have some sort of falling wedge on the RSI for eGold, which would indicate a very nice bounce. We can see previous falling wedges. I'm not sure if I just called this a rising wedge. That's a falling wedge. Talking so fast. We can see another instance of this falling wedge, and that really indicated, somewhere of somewhat of a nice reversal or bottom here. So I'm hoping that we start to see the same thing happen here. Now, Eagle did have a death cross, and it looks like it's been trading within this death cross, post death cross pretty nicely, just sideways. So that's always good to see. I just want to go ahead and do one more thing because I kind of see a potential for a Gartley pattern. And whenever I see this, I love to always try to connect the dots to see if maybe we can identify a potential bottom for eGold. So I'm just going to put this down here. This number down here is not important right now. So what I'm looking for when I start to do this Gartley stuff is I'm looking for point C to really not exceed point A. And when I start to see that it backtracks at these 786, makes me feel all good inside because that is a great point for price action to reverse. Basically, I'm looking for price to come up, penetrate through or to the 61.8 or higher, but not higher than point A. So it does look like we have this area set up quite nicely. Excuse me. And now what I'm going to do is look for a potential bottom here for B. And we're just looking to make sure that price doesn't penetrate the 786, which it has. So this might not be a true Gartley. Or if we go ahead and bring this level, well, down to here, maybe that would be a 786. I don't know about this wick here if that is true or not, but let's just say that for argument's sake that this was a Gartley. Let's go ahead and just throw up a little Fibonacci retracement from B to A. And what I'd be looking for is for price to come down to this 127 mark. If not, if that fails, I'd be looking at the 161.8. So if things get really bad for eGold, maybe 75 bucks, 76 bucks, possibly. But I'm hoping that we can see it maintain this 127, maybe come back up for a retest and blow through it. After all, we do have this falling wedge here. So I do think that price action is simply too far away from this Ichimoku cloud. It's due for a little consolidation or sideways trading, in my opinion. Let's see, what else did we have going on here? Yokai Swap. I have been loading up on Yokai Swap pretty heavily myself. Let's look at StormX because that was a request. So StormX, I'm going to bring that out again. So StormX, bear with me one second here. Man, StormX. This had such a nice like bull pennant going at one time, and now it has turned into more of like a descending triangle right now. So let's just throw this up and show you guys. So I'm hoping that we just don't see the bottom fall out with StormX, and I'm hoping that we don't fall any more sub penny because StormX is awesome. And we can kind of see that there's a similar pattern in the RSI when you look at eGold, when you look at Bitcoin, all that stuff I've been talking about. We can see this falling wedge. And so there might be another chance for StormX to bounce. And if it does, and we can stay in this triangle, you might see a 2 cent or close to a 2 cent StormX. But if this thing does fall, man, oh man. Well, let's bring this up here. Let's see here. I'm just kind of going through a few things in my head. Okay. You know, if StormX continues to go down from here, we might be looking at this 005 number. If it gets really bad, 003, somewhere in that neighborhood. There are some more. Let's see here. We've got GRT. Let's do ICP right now. So bear with me one second here. Here is ICP, currently trading at $7.97. I have been somewhat buying this dip, and I've been also saying that May 14th could possibly be this potential reversal for ICP. Right now, price action is just kind of too far away from this Ichimoku cloud. So hopefully we get a little bit of a break for ICP. There's a nice falling wedge like we're seeing everywhere. So it is what it is. Let's look at one more. Let's look at a couple more. GRT, the graph. Is this it? Okay. So the graph has been on this very nasty downward move. But let's look at the weekly. And yeah, see this really is telling me that when I look at the weekly, we can see that price is way down here. I think that it's too far away from this Ichimoku cloud. There is one thing I want to check, and there might be another cause for Gartley here. We're not going to run through the whole thing. Maybe not. I thought maybe we could get lucky. Anyways, let's just see where this thing could possibly retrace to. Beautiful. It came right down to the 18-cent level. So I think that if it can maintain above or right around that 18-cent level, it might not be the worst. Bottom falls out. We're looking at 6 cents. So there's some dramatic movements that could be made to the downside. Obviously, we want this thing to come up to uh, this 100% level here at about 43 cents. So there might be a chance to 2x from here. Let's see here. Somebody wants ADA, so we'll look at ADA, then we'll do some VGX. So Cardano, folks, this is a hot mess. And I'm going to just level with you guys on Cardano. They have taken their time, and Charles Hoskins has really, in my opinion, pumped Cardano too much. He's pumped it too much. And he's made some promises that just they haven't been able to deliver on. So I'm not saying it's bad, and maybe there's some other circumstances, but the development is very slow. And I understand that that might not necessarily be a bad thing because they are wanting to do things right the first time. And I'm sure that Cardano will be fine in the future. But if you see it hit around 46 cents, that could be a point for a reversal, possibly somewhere in there. If it goes below 46 cents, the next stop down is 17 cents, according to Fibonacci retracements. So it's a long way down. So you're going to see Cardano almost 2x to the downside. Now, I just want to tell you guys that I put out a tweet earlier, and it basically said the best fundamentals you could have when it comes to investing is to do your own research, folks. I mean, really do your own research. And I think that it's very important that you only play with money that you can afford to lose. I've been seeing some of these Reddit posts. In there are people in there that have lost their entire savings to Luna, and they are thinking about committing suicide and all these other horrible things. And so I want you guys to know that no matter what, if you guys are losing money to that point where you are thinking about suicide and stuff like that, reach out to some professionals, and I will leave a hotline here at the bottom because it's very important to know that it's just money. I mean, things will suck, no doubt about it, but your life isn't over. You can always rebuild. I know a guy that made about $100 million and he lost it. And I'm telling you, he lost it all through like addictions and stuff like that. He got back up on his feet and made like $50 million, like that. So I mean, it is what it is. It sucks. Everybody's losing money. We are all going through this together. I have not sold any of my crypto because I happen to think that we are somewhat near that foundation of a bottom. And I hope that I'm right on that. I'm not saying that it's financial advice or that you should think that too, but that's just kind of what I think. So it is what it is, folks. Invest in these solid projects. Try to diversify a little bit. I think that is a very important thing to be doing, especially when we start to see that eye opener of Luna and UST. My goodness, it is what it is, right? So, unfortunately, Luna crashed. We're seeing the market crash. I don't think it's due to Luna, it's just a natural rhythm of the market. We've seen all this stimulus money from around the world get pumped into the market over the last 2 years. And now we cannot sustain these markets without those levels of cash infusion, things of that nature. So we are going through a little bit of a bear market, and this is going to shake out the weak hands, free up some of that liquidity, and we will begin to build from the bottom up once again. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are staying safe. Keep an eye on your mental health. If you've got a spouse or something like that, ask them to keep an eye on you. Just say, hey, how are you doing today? Something like that. And be honest with yourselves. So we'll see you guys all on the next video. I think what I'm going to be doing is trying to get people's minds off the markets, things like that. So I think I might do some more in-depth, deep dive videos into ICP. I might look into Nervos Network, and I might be having a very special guest from Nervos Network coming on the channel soon. I hope it works out, and it would just be awesome if it did. So we'll see you guys all in the next video.